This is an IPO that, we're looking at. It's going to be opening probably around $75 billion, $80 billion valuation. It could be much higher by the end of the day. Again, we're doing this midday. And you're going to be listening to this, later on. But, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, the luck I talked about in my opening is just, the market just boomed in the past 4 months. The timing couldn't be perfect in terms of everything. When just demand and just everyone is freaking interested in this thing. It's everywhere in every TV station, especially financial media. But I guess really good stuff by these guys. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it always pays to be a little bit lucky, but I couldn't be more excited about this because it's just a neat story. I mean, this thing has been years in the making. Just like with your interview with Dan, he's seen his net worth go up and down 80%, skyrocket, drop 80% several times, especially if he's sold from $10. I can't even imagine. But seeing them build the infrastructure out, get huge names on the back end, help over-the-counter trades with corporations, from MicroStrategy to Tesla, I think it's amazing. I hate to be so bullish on this, because it just, you're kind of setting yourself up and you're going with the tide because, the majority of opinion is more bullish than bearish on this, of course. I saw it was going to come out, the listing price was going to be around $250, but as of now, it's still not trading, but the first price is up near $350. It's now $360. $360, yeah, okay. The goofy thing there is that you talked about Goldman Sachs' amazing earnings, right? Sachs numbers, yeah. You hit that in the beginning. We'll talk about that a little bit. Goldman Sachs is $117 billion-ish market cap, as of today, up 5%. If Coinbase comes out with a higher market cap than that, you can point to silliness there. But hell, welcome to reality. I mean, we live in the craziest world financially right now in the history of financial record. But I think it's the only game in town. I think it's an amazing opportunity for a number of reasons. I look at it as a Swiss Army knife to compare to Bitcoin or exposure to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And I think it's an amazing story and good for all the, how many millionaires and billionaires do you think are being made through this? It's incredible, but I mean, tons, right? And they've been made already even before this. Involving Coinbase. This is a $25 billion company 4 months ago. I mean, and deservingly so. We see SPACs like inflate valuations by 3x, 4x in 2 weeks, just for no reason at all. I mean, these guys' numbers exploded. I mean, I covered them earlier, which is pretty cool. But I have to say, Daniel, everything that I know about investing for 25 years tells me that with this thing coming out and everything being absolutely perfect, market, everything surging, how much it surged, it just feels like, a top. Yeah. And not necessarily a top, but just, I'm watching this too. Bitcoin hit 64,000. It's now to 62.5 and is in the past hour and a half. And just so much excitement. I feel like I'm driving home on Friday the 13th. And a black cat runs in front of my car, and then I walk under a ladder in my house, and a mirror falls and breaks on the floor all on the same day. That's how I would describe this Coinbase and people getting to crypto. I mean, I've never, I talked about earlier, and I don't know, Facebook came out at 50 IPO, and then it went to 39, 38, whatever it did, before I finally figured out a way to monetize, and we all know where it is now. Good for them. But, that's a company that don't come out with more excitement. And Google as well, if we go back, 20 years, whatever, nobody they lowered their price from 108 to 85, so when I look at this company and the excitement and everything checking off all the boxes, I don't know if you feel that way. And, if we do, we might see a pullback, which is normal for any market. I mean, this is something that has gone straight up incredibly over the past 4 months. Yeah. And you make a great point because will we look back in a little bit or, 6-8 months and say, hey, this was the ringing of the bell? Or is this just another buy the rumor, sell the news type and then reload for a higher bull market? Again, so what do you get when you buy Coinbase? You get the only exchange on crypto that's publicly traded right now. In the I saw on Dan's posting from your interview earlier, Kraken is looking to go public, and why wouldn't you at this timing to take advantage of that? Mm-hmm. But right now, it's basically your Uber without your Lyft. And Uber's trading at all-time highs. Lyft, I don't believe, has reached its all-time IPO price yet. It's still lower than that, but it's the only game in town. So you get exposure to cryptocurrencies, which is going to be volatile. Did you see in its S1 filing, this year's revenue is amazing. Wasn't it 300 and some million in profit versus what, a loss last year? That shows you the volatility there. Yeah, I mean, operating profit, I think, was $1 billion for operating profit, but it was $1.8 billion in sales. Again, that's for the quarter. Yeah. So you get exposure to the only crypto exchange in town. These are very profitable. You get
everything in the future that's coming. So what will blockchain be used? What other financial services will they do? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a couple weeks ago when you had Zach Prince on. Great interview. And I remember being a little bit surprised because it reminded me of the Netflix thing. And Netflix was completely right. When their CEO kept saying, we love competition. Even I was like, BS. There's no way you love competition. He turned out to be right. Netflix isn't getting hammered by anybody getting into their space. They're all competing with Netflix. Zach Prince made a great point saying, hey, we're going to get into traditional finance eventually, just like traditional finance is getting into crypto. That's okay. That's an evolution. That's a maturity of the market. That's exciting. With Coinbase, you also get exposure to Bitcoin. They hold Bitcoin, a couple $100 million on their balance sheet. Why wouldn't they increase that exposure, and why don't they deserve a premium like everybody else does? Tesla, MicroStrategy, Square, PayPal, etc. You also get some of the biggest and best investors backing you and behind you. So what can Coinbase do? They're going to invest in everything that they see coming down the pipe. Again, I am nervous. I would love to see a little bit of a pullback to give you an opportunity to buy in. But, I would buy a little bit of this right now and then just be along for the ride.
Yeah.
Gosh, why don't you stop me? I sound like a permabull.
Yeah, I could keep providing those superstitions. I'm not superstitious at all, by the way. But yeah, I think I provided. I can keep going. Buying Tesla closes 666. Open an umbrella indoors. I can keep going with the
Oh, gosh.
I love when people are superstitious about everything, especially when it comes to sports. I always superstitious about everything. But
real quick, were you ever that way in sports? Did you wear the same socks or anything?
No, but okay. I know a lot of people I played with did.
Me too. I never did, but yeah. Anyway, it's funny. I like those.
It's pretty big when it comes. Yeah. So, I did provide a better way to play. Coinbase, which is Silver Lake Capital, Voyage Digital, BNB Token. Again, names that we already have. But from a risk reward perspective, if you truly believe Bitcoin's going that high, these are much smaller market caps and much more growth potential. And you can't really look at how much they've gone up in the past. Just saying, if you truly believe that Bitcoin's going higher, and if you think it's going to 1 million, that was awesome. And it's just who am I to say the guy's crazy? Because he's been right all along. It's kind of like Kathy Wood. She's been right all along. And people say Tesla. Like we talked about that, we debated the Tesla thing. But for me, look, when you have that credibility, you get the benefit of the doubt. And this person has been really, really right. And I like the fact he's not arrogant about it. But I want to bring something up to you, which is very interesting. He owns Bitcoin at 10. And for me, I got the impression that he hasn't sold it. I cannot tell you how many people I talk to who own a ton of Bitcoin that are not selling at all. They're not selling. They just won't sell. They won't take profits in it. I mean, this is like an evolution. This is something that you normally don't. Usually, you have people getting in, they're going to sell it. Warren Buffett, long-term, hold things for 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, nobody does that today. Everything is like, what's the quarter? What's going to happen next 2 weeks? Oh my God, people go crazy. You always need something to talk about in the media. So many people I know own a lot. I'm talking about owning more than 5 million plus, up to probably 50 million plus, and maybe a little more than that with some people that I know, even people that we've interviewed. None of these guys are selling. Now, you look at GameStop, right? And who was that guy who had the calls on GameStop, right? Whatever it was.
Yeah, Deep Value or Kitty something,
he didn't sell them. He never sold them. And until, they expire, he made a fortune on them. Again, wherever GameStop is today, who knows? It could be 150 to 300, wherever. But even that group, too, I mean, they're like, no, it's more of proving a point. There's more emotion behind investing in Bitcoin and cryptos than I've ever seen. Now, you have your traders and everything, but these people are like gold bugs, where they're going to be bullish on it no matter what, and that's okay. You've been right, but I don't know if you've seen the same thing, but I'm seeing that from almost every person I interviewed that owned very, very early, still owns it, even up here. Like, you would be, wow, just take a little bit off, or some of it, no. They're like, nope, I'm never going to sell this thing, which is different, right? Which is definitely different.
Yeah. The fun thing for me is that there's nothing new under the sun. So emotionally, you're going to have the same people. I love your reference on gold bugs, because why wouldn't you have the same type of people with Bitcoin or stocks or real estate? I mean, some people are millionaires in real estate and would tell you the entire stock market's a scam and for suckers only, and they don't need it. And who's to tell them that they're wrong if they're very successful over here doing real estate? You don't need stocks. You don't need real estate. You don't need one or the other to become wealthy. I think that's awesome from a macro perspective. So it doesn't shock me that you have those people that are, hey, Bitcoin is the new gold. Gold is worthless. Paper money's worthless. Keep everything in Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. The interesting thing about not selling is because I don't know, and I'm not speaking for these people. I don't know why they originally bought it, but from the interview with Dan, the thesis has not changed. So the old cliche, now it's easy to say that when Bitcoin is near an all-time high. If Bitcoin drops to 15,000 or 5,000 again, you're going to feel like an idiot because you watch these paper assets inflate and now deflate. That's just part of investing in emotions. But if the thesis doesn't change, Frank, why would you sell? So if you really believe that this is going to be a currency or a store of value, or it's going to separate the power between governments and money, which, hey, I am your biggest fan on that. That ain't happening. All right, let's get that out of the way right now. I hope it does, but that ain't going to happen in our lifetime. So you got to give him credit. If that thesis doesn't change, why would you sell? I find it hard. He's got to have taken some off the table, don't you think? I mean, anybody that's got
I would think. I mean, you have to take some off the table, but I could imagine
But I know he has the majority, no doubt.
The majority of it, but for even up here when you see this thing, and plus you been through the market that went to 19 to 3,000.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Absolutely.
When 3,000, 19,000 came down, I would think, hey, at 15,000, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell a little bit this time.
And on top of that, Binance, you mentioned them, CZ, the co-founder and CEO of Binance. I believe I just read this week that he keeps 90. I don't want to exaggerate, but it's like 80 to 90% of his net worth in crypto. I don't know if that's all BNB. I'm sure that's spread around to different coins, but
brilliant and rich.
Absolutely. But I think that's amazing. It's easy to say up here, but hey, if your thesis doesn't change, personally, throw out any number you want. If people aren't selling, how does it not go to six figures? High numbers get a lot easier to reach if you have nobody willing to sell.
And not just not willing to sell, but you see more and more companies, institutions. I mean, PayPal was a huge announcement. We have 26 million, merchants that, are going to be able to pay. I mean, this is becoming like a currency now. I mean, you could be able to use it to pay for different things.
Yeah.
We're far off from it to be, mainstream and go into a deli and buying a soda with it, whatever, or milk.
But here's a fun thing like Crypterium. Crypterium offers a Visa, like debit credit card that you can use on regular purchases and get cash back in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Instead of getting credit card points, why not get crypto points?
Even BlockFi.
Yeah, and then you can transfer that over. I mean, heck, it all adds up. So it's just it's just a great evolution of
Visa. So you talk about Visa, Square, PayPal. I mean, all these guys understand how big this market is, and that is the future. And we have a young generation that is all in on this. And now you're seeing institutions, start going all in on it. But, Coinbase really opened up the door here. Hopefully the U.S. plays catch up because they've been hopefully they just, catch up because they've been way behind the curve on everything. It's been really crazy.